Hello everybody, my name is Dutchy, welcome to the channel and let's get right into this video. Alright, so in today's video I'm going to be covering the mage and showing you guys how to use them properly and effectively to destroy your enemies in Warlander. Now, just in case you haven't heard of Warlander or haven't tried Warlander yet, Warlander is a game where you need to besiege the enemy castle while defending your own. The goal is to get to the core of the enemy castle and destroy it while at the same time defending your own core. Now, this game is free to play and I would highly recommend you giving it a go if you haven't already, but if you are watching this video, most likely you would have already played it. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the mages themselves. Now, mages in this game are fully range-based, they do not have any melee abilities like the other two characters at the moment, and they are extremely powerful, but they're basically glass cannons. Meaning that they have hardly any HP, but they can deal a lot of damage, and also they are extremely effective against the doors or the siege equipment that are on the towers. Now, when you first start off with the mage, you only have a few things in your arsenal that you can use. But don't worry, very soon you will have a whole lot of weaponry that you can use. But one of the first things is the pistol fingers or the magic arrows. Now, this ability basically allows you to shoot small little arrows straight out of your fingers, dealing a whole bunch of damage. Kind of think of it as a little bit of a machine gun. It is really good for mid-range combat and also pretty damn decent for close range. These arrows are, however, really trash against buildings or just obstacles in general, but against players they are pretty damn decent. Now we move on to the fireball, which is your secondary main fire for when you first start off. Now, the fireball is really decent against buildings and structures in general, but against people it's kind of hard to hit them, so I would recommend probably going with the pistol fingers instead. Now, you also have a familiar that sort of works like the finger pistols as well. Basically, when you shoot, the familiar will shoot at the same time at the target that you're firing at. So if you need some extra firepower, just go for the familiar. Now, the wizard also starts off with Barrage. Now, this ability can actually be put on to anyone, and you can actually replace this immediately with Warcry or that song one, which I forgot the name of. But anyway, the Barrage is actually really powerful because you can actually break down doors with it pretty damn easily. But at the same time, it's also extremely weak. The reason for this is that it's extremely weak if you're using it by yourself. But if a team member, a bunch of team members actually, see that you're using it, they can actually join up with you and they can barrage with you at the same time. Now let's get on to some of the extra abilities. Now, these extra abilities are tied to your primary fire, so if you switch from one to the other, you will also switch these abilities. Let's start off with Wind Trap. Wind Trap is a very simple one. Think of it sort of as a mine that you put down on the ground. But instead of it doing a whole bunch of damage, it actually just knocks the target away, stunning him briefly or momentarily. This is a really good ability for when you're trying to either get away or actually put it on the side of a cliff, because there's a good chance that he'll hit the side of it slightly and then he'll knock straight off the map and you get a free kill. I also like to use it for whenever I'm trying to enter a castle and I just put it straight in front of the gate or the castle doors, and basically if someone tries to rush me from the other side without me knowing, they can basically get stunned immediately. Now, one of my favorite moves in the game so far is Flash Step. This basically allows you to blink any direction that you like, and at the same time you can get away from enemies. Now, one of the best things about this Flash Step actually is that you can get behind enemies really easily and really fast. However, if someone's holding up a shield, you will blink into the shield and they can basically get a free kill on you. So instead of you just blinking into their shield, just jump up slightly just before you use it and blink right behind them, so you'll make an automatic 180 and you'll be able to completely delete them. Now, the lightning ability is a very slow ability, but it deals a lot of damage. Basically, a lightning bolt will hit the ground after a few seconds of you casting it. Now, when there's a big ass skirmish going on, this is one of the best abilities to use on it. Also, if you are fighting siege weapons, this is also a really good ability to make sure people get out of those siege weapons, because it will go behind their shield. Now, crows basically sends a murder of crows over at the enemy, disabling them for a short little while. This is extremely handy when you notice that someone is fighting someone and you really want to help them out for a quick stun. However, this ability is easily blocked, so if you telegraph this ability way too early, they will certainly see it coming and they will most likely block. Those are all the abilities that you will start off with in the game. However, there are plenty more abilities in the game, and you will even be able to unlock a brand new ultimate which basically demolishes all the enemies around you if you can stay alive long enough. Now I'm just gonna go over the build that I have at the moment, which I personally think is probably one of the best builds you can get right now. If you guys have a build of your own that you think is very powerful with the wizard at the moment, why not comment down below and let us know the build? You might actually help someone out. Now, I'm not really gonna go over the clothing too much at the moment because I keep swapping that out basically every few games because I keep getting new items. So I'm just going to go over the weapons that I use for this build. So currently I have two builds for my mages. One is my wizard build, which is focused on destroying the enemy keeps and castles and all that kind of stuff. And my second one is my apprentice, which is a lower level one, but it's more focused on straight up PvPing. Now these two builds are actually quite similar, but there's one small difference that basically allows me to do a lot more damage to buildings. Alright, let's start off with the apprentice. Now, one of the big things that I love to use with my builds is a firewall, which basically damages enemies, and also if they go through it, they'll start running straight forward, meaning they'll usually go straight into my little army that I have backing me up. The second skill I use is Rocket Punch. Now, Rocket Punch basically summons a giant fist that goes straight towards the enemy, knocking them all back, even if they got a shield up. If it's a direct hit, it also sets them on fire. I also use the pistol fingers, well, the magic arrows. But you guys have already seen that, so I won't explain that too much anymore. The other main attack I use is Lightning Shock. Now, Lightning Shock basically allows you to constantly hit an enemy if they're in front of you, and you don't have to aim too much with it. It has a little bit of a lock-on system, and it deals a lot of damage. I also love using this with the Flash Step, which I actually also have equipped, which allows me to get behind an enemy really quickly and keep shocking them for a while. And I also use lightning, but I've already explained that ability, so let's move on to the wizard. Now, both of my mages are quite similar, but the big difference between the wizard and the apprentice that I have is Ignite. Now, Ignite basically shoots a fireball straight into the ground, and as soon as that fireball hits someone through the ground, it'll explode, dealing damage. This ability is also really good against doors, because it will do a lot of damage, especially from a distance as well. This ability is also really handy for spamming chokes, so if you know that the enemies are trying to move through a choke, spamming this ability through the choke will allow you to get a few nice kills. But anyway guys, that's basically my build and a bit of a guide on the wizard character at the moment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe, you know, do all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later, and you guys have a good one. Bye!